Hi, my name is Grace Nolet, and this is my story. I'm Plains Cree. My reserve, Muscogee First Nation, is located in Saskatchewan, and I am also Red River Métis. In my documentary, I'll be shedding light on my own personal story with addiction, recovery, and how my life has changed eventually from where I was and where I am now. Some of you might relate wholeheartedly. Whatever the case, I hope you get something from it. Whether you realize it or not, addiction is something most people deal with in some way. Anything can be addictive that triggers dopamine, a neurotransmitter in the brain. Food, social media and technology, exercise, work, gambling, alcohol, drugs, toxic relationships, etc. I think a genetic component may play a role or contribute to the development of addictions. Complex, varying factors may contribute and may make one more susceptible than another. Trauma, both intergenerational and childhood, chronic pain, loneliness, and mental health challenges are present in many with the disease of addiction. It's easy to make stereotypes and judge someone and look down on them from our initial assumptions of them. I think this is caused by a failure of understanding and relating. People tend to hate and judge what they don't understand. I challenge you to try to take a wider, more whole view on why someone is the way they are. It's not all black and white. It's not a moral failing or lack of willpower. It's much deeper than that. Nobody ever plans on being an addict or wishes it for themselves. When I was growing up, I had a relatively normal childhood. I was supported and loved, but a part of me did feel a sense of abandonment, not physically, but emotionally. Sometimes my environment was a bit chaotic, but largely I was a happy kid. Skateboarding was my first love growing up. I fell in love with it the moment I stepped on a board. I've never felt more free or happy while skateboarding. It has saved my life numerous times and something I always cherish and hold very dear. At times I wouldn't skate as much, but I was always drawn back to it. The lifelong friendships and memories I've made, the places it's taken me. It sounds cliche, but it really shaped me into a better person. Lessons I've learned, like dealing with fear but acting anyway, falling and getting back up and trying again. The satisfaction from learning a new trick and going through the process. Skills are formed that you can transfer to other areas of life. Meditation has also been a big part of my recovery. Consistency is key. Before I adopted meditation practice in my early 20s, I was very scatterbrained. I always had too many thoughts going on at once simultaneously, like having 10 tabs opened on a computer. I found it hard to focus and retain new information. Meditation showed me the power of silencing the mind and acknowledging certain thoughts but not identifying with them. Trying to find that peace and silence between thoughts. Over time, I became a lot calmer, confident, and composed. Eventually, a couple years ago, it led to a spiritual awakening or enlightenment, and from that moment on, I was completely and utterly transformed. It was a life-shatteringly positive experience. It feels like being reborn. The trauma, depression, anxiety, it all just dissolved and disappeared. The core problems that I've been self-medicating. It's hard to explain it unless you've experienced it yourself. I went from constantly feeling the weight of the world on my shoulders, weighed down, miserable and lost, to feeling content, at ease, peaceful, and finally happy. My body feels light as a feather now. My whole being does. Before I was always tense and felt like I was walking around carrying weights. Now it all makes sense, and the puzzle pieces, the shattered sense of self, has been mended and put together. I believe life is a test, and we're not meant to be happy all the time. We were put here to go through suffering, trials and tribulations, and conquer them, and emerge from the ashes victorious. What I didn't realize then, but what I realize now, is that I was trying to fix internal problems with external solutions. Such is the case for many. The issue with that is that the external solutions we use are not always in our best interests, are destructive and unhealthy, and ultimately hinder our mental, spiritual, and emotional growth. Healthier ways of coping and dealing with the issues we face, like exercising, eating healthier, praying, reaching out to others instead of internalizing everything, expression, not isolating ourselves excessively, and disconnecting to reconnect. What I mean by that is limiting screen time and mindless scrolling. I now know God was with me every step of the way, always watching over me, my coming and going. I look back at my struggles and look at them like a chapter in my journey that I can close and new ones begin. I'm so grateful and overjoyed to still be here on earth. It's difficult to put into words. If I continued on my self-destructive path, I wouldn't be here. Addiction only ends in 3 ways: death, rehab, or jail. I'm grateful for my family and my friends and the people that I've encountered throughout my journey. You can see it's just a clip of me working here. This is a clip of East Hastings, walking down Hastings. Yeah, it's a pretty, it almost looks like a war-torn place, but when I lived in Vancouver, this is where I'd be a lot of the times. There's a lot of lost souls. This is Acts 2:17. In the last days, God says, I will pour out my spirit on all people. Your sons and daughters will prophesy. Your young men will see visions. Your old men will dream dreams. So I've had a few spiritual dreams and a spiritual vision, and this solidified my belief in God.
There you go.